I have two fellow judges with me who are currently doing the rounds and looking at the exhibits. It's going to be a very difficult choice today. I think there's a lot of very good talent here, a lot of inspired design. But to focus down on the areas that we're particularly looking for is going to be difficult, I think, because there's a number that are going to meet those criteria.
What we're looking for are people who have a really particular view which they bring forward in their work. So it's a sense of a particular individual, I think, coming out, rising above the rest in terms of their approach, aesthetic, technical, in every sense, really.
It's more the practicality and the ability to implement the designs. There are many varied designs here, some of which are flights of fancy. I suppose I'm looking for those that are creative yet have a possibility of being implemented given the sort of constraints of finance and the practicalities of materials and so on.
I did a local cinema in Headingley, which is where all the students come from. It was recently shut down in 2005, so my design was to try and regenerate the cinema and also try and solve the problems of a large number of students living in a small area. So I tried to make it for a facility for everyone and tried to make individual viewing pods and things where like young people and old people could come to the cinema together, and it would be more of an experience for everyone rather than mainly the drinking culture in the area was a problem, so it was kind of a solution to that rather than just the cinema. Viewing pods that you can see at the top, it was kind of trying to make individual choices, so you didn't have to all sit in the auditorium and watch a film all in the same seats. So you could do that, or you could go to the balcony level, which had been converted into 3 pods. So there was a child-friendly pod which had a wave shape, so the children could stick beanbags to it and enjoy the film in a more relaxed environment, and the soundproofing meant they wouldn't have any problem with the rest of the customers. And then also luxury pods for those people that wanted to have a little bit more luxury and enjoy the cinema away from everyone else. So kind of like a bit more of a choice for people rather than just having to do the standard auditorium viewing.
I'm from Leeds College of Art and Design. I've designed a mosque. Basically, the idea was to actually bring non-Muslims and Muslims together in the mosque and create an area where non-Muslims can access it comfortably. So essentially I created a structure based on the name of Allah, and I replicated that from right to left and left to right. The right to left is the Arabic way of writing and left to right is the English way of writing, because I had to consider the location, environment, the heritage. The idea was to create something quite contemporary, quite simple, quite plain, which was more suited to the environment in England. I did a dissertation as well, which was considering, how the mosque responds to 21st century concerns, because Islam is kind of like, there's big problems and there's issues of integration. So I felt that I wanted to create something that was kind of like more inviting. The approach was to be more inviting to the wider community rather than the Muslim community. You can think your design is the most amazing design in the world, but until people actually look at your design and tell you what they think about it, it's irrelevant what you think, it's what other people think and what kind of impression they give on other people.
Basically what it's looking at, it was inspired from the slum cultures in Bombay and looking at the recycling culture in India and how they reuse different materials. And the whole idea is trying to produce a sustainable process and a sustainable outcome which is based by using waste material. So to prove to people that you can actually make beautiful outcomes from waste material. And the process uses sort of a natural resin, which is an extract from sunflower oil, and it's bonded with the crushed glass. And it's just fused together in a mold and just produced in simple lighting. So it's a simple idea with a simple process and a sustainable outcome. That's basically the idea behind the whole thing. the funny thing is people are afraid to touch it. So I had to put a sign there so you can touch it, because you have to see the smoothness of the material. And normally glass is, resembled with cutting yourself and certain things, and it's going to be sharp in edges. So this process, because it's using the material in its raw form, trying to convince people to see that it can actually be made from a beautiful waste material. And it's as simple as that. And the people are enjoying the feedback because they like to see people, or liking the fact that it's going into a sustainable process. It's got a nice design. It's an eco-efficient way, and it can be taken into different potential factors with architecture, spatial and 3D. So people are enjoying that sort of factor, which is quite nice to see.
I'm interested in sustainable design and how our designs impact on the environment. My entry, it's a self-sufficient petrol station which is using renewable energy, solar panels and hydro recycling, and the materials are sustainable. I started off by looking at traffic and movement. I then went on to generating concept ideas. I'm really into sort of sustainability and how that can be put into design now and focus more for the future.
It's an exhibition museum which is entirely dedicated to a slave trade. The main idea of the whole project is that the only means of, when you enter into the building, the only means of going anywhere is you come into a lift, and the lift takes you upstairs, and then you descending through the building, and that represents the journey of all those poor people who've been enslaved and taken to Americas. And you got different galleries, and one of the galleries represents the Middle Passage, and you can see you got different. It's like rows of shelves on each side, and it's really sort of clumped space, and it just gives you a feeling of what those people had to experience, go through the actual travel through from Africa to America. And then the first gallery you hit, it's like an open space Africa, before Europeans came in, and it's like that's the different atmosphere. And then you come to the colonial gallery, which is all about the colony and the products they've been using, and rubbish packaging of 18th century, 19th century. Then when it comes here, you got the actual end products, and that it just juxtapose the people's feelings, and that is all about getting those products back to British aristocrat stables who can have a cup of tea with a bit of sugar, but no one was actually thinking of millions and millions of people who suffered and died for just a piece of sugar, really. So yeah, the inspiration might come from anywhere really, but I think as an architect designer, you just really have to analyze stuff around you, and sometimes it might come from anywhere really.
And this prize is £1,000 and a month's paid work placement in the successful and growing project management division of Gleeds. And this award goes to Alexander Strakov from Cardiff School of Art and Design for his work titled The Journey. Judges' comments were an ingenious and thoughtful piece, fully realised piece of work.